Bakerstown, Ohio is a mid-sized city. Residents like that it has the benefits of a larger urban area and a small town feel. One of those benefits is a nonprofit that helps chronically ill members of the community with rent, utility, and prescription drug payments. But when Carla Thompson, the executive director, went to her office last January, she knew something was wrong. She had a message from one of their donees saying that his heat was about to get cut off because he hadn't received payments from them. As Carla unraveled the issue, she discovered that Mary, the program coordinator, had added her own landlord and utilities providers to the list of approved vendors they could pay. Ultimately, Carla learned that Mary had used $144,000 meant for the chronically ill to pay her own expenses. But since Mary was responsible for both the vendor list and dispersing funds, it was easy to do. While the names in this example have been changed, the situation depicted here is based on an actual event. In fact, there are countless similar events that occur in nonprofits on a regular basis. Fiducia's founder, Dan Healy, saw this and other stories like it flash across the pages of his local paper. He started a list of all the embezzlement that he read about. $100,000 here, $1.5 million there. Not just one-time events, but regular stories of criminal fraud at nonprofits. As a key member of the audit staff at a multinational financial services company, he grew frustrated at what he saw as preventable crimes hurting his community. Dan founded Fiducia as a way to help nonprofits stay true to their missions to help their communities. The nonprofit sector in the U.S. is quite large. Consider these statistics. There are 2.3 million nonprofits in the U.S. They bring in $1.5 trillion in revenue. They have $1.45 trillion in expenditures, $2.5 trillion in assets, and 63 million volunteers who put in 15 billion volunteer hours. United Way, the largest private nonprofit in the world, has approximately 1,800 offices in 45 countries and invests $5.3 billion in nonprofits globally. Research consistently estimates that on average about 5% of revenue is lost to fraud and embezzlement annually. The average fraud lasts 18 months and the average loss is $140,000. What's more, 85% of those committing the fraud have never had any interaction with law enforcement. They're just ordinary people, often facing financial pressure of some sort and having an opportunity to steal. Why isn't this stopped? Nonprofits haven't been able to adopt the anti-fraud controls common in the Fortune 500s because they face unique and significant challenges, including tight resources, a lack of expertise in this area, and often a largely volunteer staff. Fiducia Solutions takes the anti-fraud practices of Fortune 500 companies, along with 13 years of nonprofit board experience, and translates this in a way that is affordable, effective, and sustainable. The resulting solution is minimally disruptive to operations and typically does not result in additional staffing. The anti-fraud services Fiducia offers are bundled in 3 packages. The first is a free tip line. The tip line is generated instantly on the Fiducia site. No setup time is required. With this in place, a tip can be submitted by phone or online. In addition, a tipster poster can be printed directly from the site, or copies can be ordered. Don't think a tip line is very effective? Think again. Over 40% of all frauds are detected through tips, far more than any other method of detection. This includes CPA audits, which discover less than 5% of frauds. The second option Fiducia offers is a control assessment. It adds to the free tip line by giving you the ability to easily assess the quality of internal controls within an organization. This option begins by entering key personnel to receive an online assessment in the Fiducia tool. Those you enter will receive an email with instructions to complete the assessment, which requires about 15 minutes. Once the assessments are complete, you automatically receive a scorecard showing items of strength and concern across 18 key areas such as segregation of responsibilities, accounts payable, and tone at the top. Next, the team at Fiducia produces a customized report that interprets the scorecard and prioritizes recommendations for improvement. The entire process can be completed and implemented within a single month with very little time and little to no disruption to an organization's operations. What's more, the scores can be used to track movement from one year to the next, serving as a useful barometer for progress. Finally, Fiducia's premium protection option offers a detailed map of how funds move in and out of your organization. It identifies risks at each point and controls to mitigate that risk. Creating the map involves 3 one-on-one interviews with key members of your organization. Each interview lasts about 1 hour. The resulting map takes the current workflows of the organization and optimizes them based on anti-fraud industry best practices. Risks are denoted as well as controls. For example, if the money entering the organization is collected and accounted for by a single individual, there is a significant risk of fraud. To mitigate that risk, 2 controls would be recommended. The first is to ensure that funds are counted by 2 individuals, and the second is to ensure that they are counted in a secure area. Certain key controls are identified for quarterly audits. These audits are simple and quick and conducted in-house. For example, a board member would confirm that funds are being counted in a secure area. Sign-offs for this and other controls show management and the board that the organization is protected. Nonprofits serve a vital role in our communities, helping valuable causes and those most in need. But they are also the most vulnerable to embezzlement and fraud. Fiducia is dedicated to protecting nonprofits and those they support through affordable, effective, and sustainable anti-fraud solutions.